Yeah, it's hard to believe that I'm going to say something about the most powerful man in the greatest country in the world, but probably like a lot of you, I was somewhat surprised that the president of the United States, came out attacking NFL players for them exercising the freedom of speech. While I don't condone the protest during our national anthem, this is America. If our country stands for anything, folks, what? It's freedom. People died for that freedom. I'm not sure if our president understands those rights, that every American has the right to speak out and also to protest. Believe me, these athletes do love this great country of ours. Personally, I think our president should concentrate on serious issues like North Korea and health care rather than ripping into athletes and the NFL.
You know, kneeling or sitting for the anthem is not something I would choose to do, but I fully support the right to do it. That being said, what keeps getting lost in the criticisms of the form of the protest is the message of inequality. Put it in perspective, as a white father having raised 3 boys, there were a million things to worry about on a daily basis. But it's impossible for me to truly understand the challenges that an African-American father faces at every turn while raising his children. But in a league that is comprised of 70% African-American players, if you're a white player in an NFL locker room, that puts you in a unique position to try to better understand those struggles and subsequently, as we've seen, show your support for your teammates in your own way. Understanding starts with a dialogue, and the most important part of dialogue is to listen.
And I agree 100% with you, Howie. And as you said, 70% of the players are African-American players, but all of them, if not all of them, are kneeling are African-American players. And a lot of them have taken exception to being called SOBs. They felt like they've been told to stay in their place. And I think that's very frustrating to these guys. Not everyone kneels. But for the guys who don't kneel, they do have an understanding of what the other guys are kneeling for. And it's something that it's a personal preference for you as a player to choose to kneel or not to kneel. But it's turned into an issue about the flag. And it's never been an issue about the flag. It's been an issue about inequality, injustice, mistreatment of minorities. And it's been a spin on the real issue, which is that, to put it on the flag. And that's what the players feel. And whenever this happens to anybody in the locker room, whenever anybody feels attacked, it brings the players together. And as you've seen from this, it's brought the players together, the league together, the Players Association. Everybody's come together as one. And we do live in the home of the brave. Plain and simple, the home of the brave. My father's a retired Army officer. But it's also the land of the free. And that is what is said in our anthem. And that is what we have to live by.
Yeah, and Michael, I don't want to underplay this issue because it's a lot more important than a football game. And so that's why I want to pull back and say, wait a minute now. You know, this issue is important, but there is a football game to play. And as a coach, I would be concerned about the focus of some of these players.
You know, the bottom line, though, is that people tend to forget that these players are human beings. And not just when fans want them to be, like J.J. Watt, and doing things to help the community in the ways that they want them to help the communities. A lot of these players, they've got feelings, they've got emotions, they've got opinions, and many of the players I spoke to feel that their voice is not being heard. And more specifically, that the president's comments on Friday, particularly calling them SOBs, were a slap in their face. One of the things, though, about football is that it always has a way of kind of unifying us and pulling us together. We hope that this unity that spread throughout the league yesterday will spread throughout America in the weeks and months to come.